welcome to All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host. My guest today is Larry Jackson. Larry Jackson is with ShotSpotter. We're going to go into that technology in a few minutes, but first I want to find out a little bit about the background of Larry Jackson. Larry, did you grow up here in Oakland, or were you born somewhere else, or what?
First of all, Bob, thank you very much for having me on today. I'm a native Southern Californian. I grew up
Right down south.
Right down south, indeed. I grew up in Pasadena, California, but made my way to the Bay Area initially through college. I attended Stanford University, where I got my degree in political science, initially thinking I was going to go into law.
Smart man. Stay away from law. No, I'm joking.
But I chose a different path and decided on business. And from there, I moved on to Clark Atlanta University, where I received my MBA in finance. And that really launched my business career.
And while you were at Stanford, something very important happened. Is that true? And that happened to be what?
Well, a couple of things happened, but I am a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I pledged to Lambda Nu chapter at Stanford University.
And that's why he's such a great person. A member of Kappa Alpha Psi, I'm always plugging Kappa Alpha Psi.
Absolutely.
And after Clark Atlanta University, after you got your MBA, you then did what?
I then moved back to the Bay Area. I came back and I started my career actually in banking. I was a commercial banker with Wells Fargo for a number of years, learned a lot about business in that environment. But something about technology, something about business process and data really grabbed my attention. And so from banking, I moved into management consulting. And so for the last 20, 25 years of my career, I've been in management consulting, where I really worked with many of the leading companies on their digital technology transformation, helping them implement technology to not only improve their business processes, but also to leverage data on how they make different strategic decisions.
And who were some of the companies you worked with?
Well, the companies that I worked with Accenture, which is one of the leading management consulting firms. And more recently, I was with IBM in their strategy consulting practice, primarily focused on Salesforce, but also within the insurance industry.
And how did you end up with ShotSpotter?
Well, it's a good question. My background being in digital technology, business process, I understand technology. ShotSpotter really is implementing digital technologies for the law enforcement industry or agencies. And so it made for a natural extension. And so when the opportunity presented itself to me, it made complete sense for me. Although changing to a different industry, many of the same practices, approaches that I practiced while in management consulting for the insurance industry are applicable to what I'm doing now.
Now let's talk a little bit about ShotSpotter, because our audience, our viewers, probably have no idea what ShotSpotter is. So here's an opportunity to explain in their language what ShotSpotter is.
I'll try to make it very simple. To begin with, ShotSpotter is an acoustic gunshot detection technology. Another way to think of it is, say, a digital witness to illegal gunfire. So what we do is we work with policing agencies across the country. And based on crime and gun activity data, we put up a number of sensors. These are passive sensors that we place around the city. And so when there is a loud bang, boom, or pop, those sensors are activated. And only at that time do they start to pick up that information. And when that sound is picked up by 3 or more sensors, we triangulate that data based on the sound, the speed of travel, to pinpoint exactly within 82 feet of where that shot was actually fired.
So it's that accurate.
It's that accurate.
82 feet,
82 feet.
You can determine where that gunshot came from.
Exactly right. And that's one of the key points that we provide to law enforcement. Rather than give an address and say, go to 123 Main Street, we can say, go to the front of 123 Main Street. But to find the scene of the activity, go to the dot. We say cop to the dot. And that's actually displayed on our technology, that the dot may be in the backyard. That's where the police officer or the attending first responder should go.
So then the police has an opportunity to go directly to where the gunshot occurred. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And And what does that do? How does that give the police an advantage?
There's a couple things that gives the police an advantage. If you think about the ShotSpotter alert, it goes to the police officer either for their dispatch, on their in-dash board in their car,
so
or
it
on the
can go
application.
directly to a car, or it can
Absolutely.
go to the dispatch unit, I guess.
But it'll ultimately be presented to that officer so they can self-dispatch and get to the scene of that activity immediately. So if you think about a 911 call, in many instances, and the data proves that 80% of the time that there's illegal gunfire in our communities, no one calls 911. So if you think about that, that information goes to the police officer. They can respond quickly and actually to the dot to where that incident took place.
So then the response time can be reduced significantly.
Significantly. We get that information to the police agencies within 60 seconds.
60 seconds?
Within 60 seconds of that alert going off. Absolutely.
Well, I suppose if you don't have any police officers to respond, then that's another issue.
That's a different issue, but one of the things we do within customer success is make sure that our policing agency partners have operational procedures and policies for gunshot detection so they respond quickly and efficiently to those spots.
Now, we're going to have to go to break, but this is the kind of technology that gives us an advantage when we try to detect crime in our city. So don't touch that remote. We will be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Larry Jackson of ShotSpotter. We will be right back.